Hey, come sit with me for a minute. I need to tell you something. Something I learned the hard way, and it's been weighing on my heart. For the longest time, I thought the greatest battles in life were fought out there, in the world. But I was wrong. The real war, the one that truly defines your destiny, is silent, and it's fought right here, inside your own mind. You see, I used to be an open book. I thought that was a good thing. You know? To be authentic, to be real. But what I didn't realize is that for some people, an open book is just an instruction manual on how to hurt you. They don't need to break your bones or raise a sword against you. All they have to do is make you feel something. A little poke to stir up your anger, a whispered word to plant a seed of guilt, a look that makes you feel ashamed. And just like that, you do their work for them. You hand over the keys to your own soul. Have you ever felt that? That sudden, hot flush of anger, or the cold, sinking feeling of shame that someone else so easily triggered? That's the moment the game is lost. They learn the music of your heart not to dance with you, but to play you like an instrument. And for years, my friend, I was played. But then I discovered something profound, a truth that changed everything. What if your silence could be more terrifying than your loudest rage? What if you could become so solid in your own being that their praise and their insults were just meaningless noise, like wind rattling against a mountain? This isn't about becoming heartless or numb. Trust me, it's the opposite. It's about becoming so incredibly alive and in control of your own inner world that no one can ever use it against you again. It's about awakening a divine power within you, a quiet sovereignty that makes you not just a player in the game, but the one who owns the entire board. I think we've all been sold this beautiful, dangerous lie since we were kids. It's a story whispered in poems, sung in songs, plastered all over our screens, that to feel everything, to be emotionally sensitive, is to be fully human and virtuous. We're told to wear our hearts on our sleeves as a badge of honor. But let me ask you this, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Who does that truly serve? Who really benefits when your heart is left unguarded for the world to see? I can tell you from my own painful experience, it's not you. Your emotions, my friend, are sacred. They're a form of energy, a currency, and when you let them run wild, you're essentially handing out your life force for free to anyone who knows how to ask for it. Think about the energy vampires in your life. The manipulators who know exactly what to say to make you doubt yourself, to make you feel small. They study you, they learn your triggers. Every time you react, every time you give them that burst of anger or that flood of tears, you're not just being authentic, you're being predictable. And let me tell you, in the bigger game of life, predictable people are the first to be sacrificed. I used to think my passionate reactions were a sign of my strength, my conviction. I'd get into these huge arguments, my voice shaking, my heart pounding in my chest, feeling so righteous. But afterward, I was always the one left, feeling drained, empty, and defeated, while the other person just walked away. It took me years to realize they weren't engaging with my logic. They were feeding on my energy. True, lasting power, the kind that builds empires, creates art, and truly shapes a life, it doesn't start with a bang. It's born in the silence that follows the storm. It's found in that quiet, calm center when all the chaos of emotion is swirling around you. And here's the secret that so many miss. You don't have to kill your feelings to find this power. You don't have to become an empty shell. You just have to become the master of their expression. You still feel the sting of betrayal, the warmth of joy, the ache of loss. Of course, you do. But you no longer let those feelings steer the ship. You hold them, you honor them, but you, and only you, decide when and how they are shown to the world. It's like having a vault of priceless jewels. You wouldn't just leave the door wide open for anyone to walk in and take what they want, would you? The moment I stopped needing other people to understand my pain or validate my joy was the moment I started to become free. I stopped living to explain myself and started living to build my vision. There's this old, almost ruthless piece of wisdom that says it's better to be feared than loved if you can't be both. I struggled with that for a long time. It sounded so cold. But then I realized what it truly meant. Your raw, unchecked emotions, they make you lovable, sure. They also make you incredibly easy to control. but that deep, unwavering respect that borders on fear. That doesn't come from being a tyrant. It comes from unshakable self-control. It's born from emotional mastery. The journey to becoming cold in this sense isn't about freezing your heart. It's about forging spiritual armor around it. It all starts with changing how you see your own feelings. Most of us, we're like little boats tossed around on the sea of our emotions. We're slaves to our inner weather. If we feel angry, we lash out. If we feel hurt, we retreat and bleed. If we feel scared, we run. But have you ever stopped to think how primitive that is? You're not here to be prey, my friend, reacting to every shadow. You are here to awaken the predator within, not a vicious one, but a calm, calculated, and composed being who moves with divine purpose. I started watching my own reactions like a hawk. When I felt that familiar surge of anger at a perceived slight, instead of letting it explode, I would stop. I'd get quiet, and I would just observe it. I wouldn't judge it. I wouldn't suppress it. I would just watch it rise and fall like a wave. The person who had insulted me would be standing there, waiting for the explosion they were used to, and all they would get was silence. And in that silence, I saw everything. Their insecurity, their need to provoke me, their own weakness. This is the truth I want you to hold on to. Your calm is a weapon. Your stillness is a warning. And your indifference to their games is absolute power. Now, getting to this place, this frequency of emotional sovereignty, it isn't easy. It requires you to do something that might feel like the scariest thing in the world at first. You have to completely kill your dependence on emotional validation from others. I mean it. You have to take a metaphorical blade to those invisible chains that tie your self-worth to someone else's applause, to their approval, to their understanding. You have to stop explaining yourself. You have to stop chasing their likes, both online and in real life. And you absolutely must stop sharing your pain with people who haven't earned the right to hear it, because so often they're just gathering intelligence to use against you later. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your peace. You owe yourself your freedom. And that freedom, my friend, is found when you start guarding your emotional energy like it's the most precious resource you have, because it is. This isn't just a decision you make once. It's a total shift. It's like you suddenly realize you've been living in a house with all the doors and windows wide open, and you start methodically, calmly, closing and locking each one. You don't get hooked by every insult because you see it for what it is, bait. You don't justify your big dreams to small minds, and you learn the profound art of detachment. It's not that you stop caring about people, it's that you stop letting their chaos become your own. You realize that caring too much, in an undisciplined way, just makes you a predictable target. This is the secret art that leaders and creators have known for centuries. It's about wearing a mask, not a fake one to lie, but a protective one to preserve your energy, to remain unreadable, not to deceive, but to dominate the energetic space around you. I swear to you, the moment you stop letting your feelings be the puppet master is the moment you start moving the world around you, often without saying a word. This is the power of what I call the cold. It's not cruel, it's invulnerable, it's not heartless, it's unreachable. You stop being the one who gets moved by every little drama, and you become the one who moves others through your sheer presence. Once you cross that line, my friend, you don't just become emotionally dangerous in their eyes. You become emotionally untouchable. Just take a look around. The real game of power today isn't played on a battlefield with swords and shields. It's a subtle, psychological war fought with emotions. People are conquered not by force, but through manipulation, through guilt, through shame, through endless distraction. They don't need to break your body when they can just provoke your feelings and watch you break yourself from the inside out. Every single time you have an emotional reaction, you're handing your opponent a piece of your power. That sigh of frustration, that's a clue. That tear of disappointment, that's a blueprint of your heart. That flare of rage, that's a detailed map to your deepest insecurities. You might think you're just being real, but for someone who's watching, you're revealing your entire strategy. In this game, your emotions are not private, they are public signals. And the one who broadcasts everything is the one who bleeds out first. This is the fundamental mistake so many of us make. We believe that our emotional outbursts are a sign of passion, of authenticity. But really, it's just a sign that we're predictable. And being predictable is being weak. In this world where everything is watched and recorded, emotional transparency can be a form of self-sabotage. If someone knows they can make you angry, they know they can make you stupid. If they know they can make you feel guilty, they know they can make you compromise your values. If you're constantly living in the past, haunted by old wounds, you're letting your history write your future. And if your heart is always an open door, don't be surprised when someone comes in and tries to wreck the place. The goal isn't to kill your body, it's to control your choices. And the easiest way to do that is by hijacking your emotions. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how kind you are, how noble your intentions are. If you can't control your emotional output, you will always be at a disadvantage. Your emotions are a currency, and you've been giving them away for free. Let that sink in. Every outburst is a direct deposit into your enemy's bank account. This is the hidden war. And you're not losing because you're not good enough. You're losing because you are emotionally exposed. You think they don't see your insecurities. They're the first thing they look for. You think they don't know you crave approval. They can smell it a mile away. And they will use it against you until you feel trapped, drained, and utterly confused. It's not that the world is inherently evil. It's that you were never taught how to build your fortress. And that, my friend, is the real problem we need to solve. Mastering your emotions isn't some mystical gift you're born with. It's a skill, a craft. And like any weapon, you have to sharpen it, test it, and master it in the quiet moments, in the silence. The greatest strategists I've ever read about didn't rely on hope or luck. They relied on ruthless preparation. They lived by a simple code. A wise person does now what a fool puts off until later. So, if you're serious about this, if you want to become emotionally dangerous, you have to train like your life depends on it, because it does. And this training isn't about crushing your feelings. It's about dissecting them, understanding them, and then choosing your response with the precision of a surgeon. Here's where I started. This is the very first step. First, you must learn to pause. This is the cornerstone of all power, stillness. When you feel that old, familiar spark of provocation, don't move, don't speak, just pause. It's not about finding peace in that moment, it's about observing. Let your silence hang in the air. Let it make them uncomfortable. As they squirm, waiting for the reaction you've always given them, you study them. The longer you can hold that space, the more the power dynamic shifts in your favor. And I promise you, in that pause, you will see the truth, their real intention, their own fear, their weakness. They came seeking control, and you gave them nothing but a mirror. Now they are the ones who are exposed. Second, you replace raw emotion with cold strategy. The average person is a slave to their feelings. The powerful person is a master of tactics. From now on, instead of asking yourself, how do I feel about this? You must ask, what is the most strategic move here? This means detaching from your ego. It means letting go of your pride. It even means letting go of your desperate need to be right. Because what good is being right if you lose the war? You're not looking for that satisfying emotional release anymore. You're looking for the advantage. Revenge isn't a fiery outburst. It's the quiet, calculated act of walking away and letting them self-destruct in the vacuum you've created. You don't need to get even. You need to rise so high that they become utterly irrelevant. Third, you must train your triggers. You have to know your own weaknesses better than anyone else. What is it for you? Is it being disrespected, being ignored, being rejected? Good. Now you know where the training ground is. You have to intentionally, in controlled ways, expose yourself to these situations. Not to torture yourself, but to build an immunity. To dominate the feeling it brings. Let people underestimate you and stay silent. Let them lie to you and stay composed. Let them insult you and stay calm. Every time you refuse to give the old reaction, the trigger loses a little more of its power over you. And soon, I promise, you'll reach a point where nothing can move you unless you consciously choose to be moved. That, my friend, is real power. Fourth, you must master your own face. Your face is a battlefield where tiny wars are won and lost every day. The masters of this game know that people are always scanning your eyes, your mouth, the subtle twitches in your muscles, looking for weakness before they make their move. Your face must become a calm, unreadable mask. No nervous tics, no slumping posture, no wavering gaze. I used to practice this in the mirror, just holding a neutral expression. Practice stillness. Practice neutrality. Your smile becomes a tool, used only when it benefits you. Your frown becomes a message, sent with intention. Every glance is calculated. And when they try to push your buttons, you give them nothing but a calm, surgical stare. Watch their confusion grow. Watch their own power fade away in the face of your composure. And finally, number 5, say less than is necessary. Words are a currency, my friend, and most people are bankrupt. They spend them like they're worthless. If you want real power, you must speak with precision and purpose. Let silence do the heavy lifting. Let it fill the spaces between your sentences. Emotionally weak people feel the need to explain everything. They rant, they justify, they confess their every thought. But you will speak only to command, to correct, or to confuse. Let your stillness shout louder than their noise. Let your unpredictability create a sense of fear, not of violence, but of the unknown. Because when they have no idea what you're thinking, they will always assume the worst. And that assumption, that's your shield. These 5 methods, the pause, the strategy, the training, the mask, and the silence, these aren't just clever tricks. They are sacred disciplines. And the more you practice them, the more you forge yourself into something emotionally invincible. You're no longer running from pain. You're learning to process it internally and transform it into pure strength. This is your inner fortress. While others are defending castles made of sand, you are building one within your own mind, with walls so high that no one can breach them, not with love, not with hate, not with betrayal. This is the true method, not just for surviving, but for dominating. When you finally achieve this level of control, your entire reality will shift. You'll feel it. People will respond to you differently. Arguments will shorten and then disappear. Silence will become your most powerful language. You won't need to prove anything anymore, because your calm, solid presence will say it all. Most people are completely reactive. Their faces a roadmap of their every irritation, their words a frantic rush, their emotions an open book for anyone to read. They call it honesty, but it's really just a lack of discipline. When you stop doing that, when you become emotionally disciplined, you become an enigma. People won't know how to handle you. You'll see them hesitate before they speak to you. They'll try their old tricks, but when they get no reaction, they'll retreat. They'll realize you don't get flustered, you don't chase, you don't beg, you just stay still. And that stillness makes you dangerous, because they can't predict you. This is a quiet, profound power. You don't have to raise your voice because your presence is enough. People will start to take you seriously, not because you demanded it, but because your very being commands it. The less you reveal, the more they will fear what you might be holding back. That fear, that uncertainty, becomes a form of control you wield without effort. You'll also find yourself free from relying on others emotionally. You're no longer attached to their approval or their praise. You become self-contained, a universe unto yourself. They will realize they can't sway you with guilt or compliments, and that makes you immune to their games. Over time, this emotional discipline becomes your very identity. You become known as the one who doesn't get rattled. They'll adjust their tone around you. They'll think twice before they cross a line, because your silence carries more weight than their loudest threats. People who once dismissed you will become cautious. They'll realize you are not someone they can play with. This is the transformation. You don't just gain respect, you gain a powerful presence. And presence, my friend, is always more powerful than noise. You become the standard that others measure themselves against, not because you were intimidating, but because you simply removed the one thing that makes most people weak, their uncontrolled emotion. That is what it truly means to be emotionally dangerous. You don't attack, you don't explain, you don't beg, you simply withdraw your energy from their games. And in doing so, you rise above it all. This isn't a trophy you win once. It's a daily practice, a constant sharpening of your inner sword. You stay disciplined when things are calm, so you are lethal when the storm returns. You don't rehearse your anger, you rehearse your restraint. That is where true power lives. And in the end, this emotional strength will be your greatest asset, more valuable than money, words, or physical might. It is the ability to remain unmoved while the world does its best to shake you. That is power, that is control, that is fearlessness, and that is how you remain dangerous quietly, consistently, forever. If this resonated with you, if you felt a flicker of this truth inside you, then acknowledge it. This isn't just motivation, this is preparation. Stay sharp, stay cold, stay in control, and never, ever let them see you bleed.